up here. Okay, looks like everything's going. Cool. Good stuff. It is Monday. Everyone's favorite day. Hardly. Nah, it's Monday. It's a pretty okay Monday by my book. Woke up tired this morning, but managed to pull it all together and have a good workout, and here I am now. Pretty chill, quiet Monday for me, which is, I mean, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm always happy about a nice, chill, calm start to the week. Mondays have a unique power to sort of set the tone for what things are going to be like for the rest of the week. So if we can always start off in a nice, calm, slow, chill spot for the week, if we can start there, that always, for me at least, that always kind of bodes well for the rest of the week, because at the very least, we're starting from a neutral place rather than starting from a place of being too desperately tired or annoyed at work or whatever. So I'm pretty content with how today is starting, and the good news is by having these Monday streams like this, it kind of helps make sure that the day just kind of picks up as time passes through it. I really enjoy the streams here. I enjoy doing this, and I'm happy to be here. We'll make sure that we got everything else all set up here, so that way when once we give it a couple more minutes, just in case anyone's gonna sneak in at the beginning here, and give them time to do that. But then once we're maybe just a couple more minutes into it, we'll go ahead and get started. Definitely ready to do some writing. So for me, writing tends to kind of come in waves over time. So there'll be days, there'll be weeks or even months where I'm just not really feeling it. But then there are other months, weeks and months where suddenly I'm just like, I'm very motivated and very excited to be working on different things. So, and we're definitely in a period right now where I'm into it and I'm excited to be working on the things that I'm working on. And so that's definitely helps with the productivity side of things. So that's good. For me, anyway. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully that's good for you guys. Hopefully that means, I like to think that means I'm, more entertaining to watch. But then again, I don't know that my brand of entertainment that I provide is as much about providing that cutting edge entertainment. I always feel like my streams trend more towards the Bob Ross school of entertainment, where it's like, I'm there for background, trying to just generally speaking stay chill and just sort of, maybe chit chat a little bit while we go. I always feel like that's kind of more what I'm striving for, rather than the high octane, big energy streams that are out there. I think there's a lot of those out there, and I'm not knocking them. I watch plenty of them. There's a time and place for them, but I can't get myself on that level. I can't get myself up to those levels of screaming excitement that some people look for. I don't really do the whole online multiplayer gaming and all that kind of stuff, so it just that's not my jam. But I feel like I'm kind of finding my own niche as a streamer here. We'll see how that goes over time. But let's see, where are we at right now? Alright, well, we're about 5 minutes deep here. That gives some people some time if they were gonna sneak in here and care to be here at the very beginning of things, but mostly I think it's probably just time to go ahead and dive in and get to work on some stuff here, right? So let's swap our screen over here. Here we are. This is where we left off last time. We were working on our dungeon, and we were in this situation, or rather, the last stream. Let me open up what we were working on here. Oh, I need to go different folder here. This is the folder that we need. This should be the one. There it is. That looks pretty familiar. This is what we were working on last time. We have our just a small segment of a mountainous giant tribe village. We have one fast asleep, one dozing giant here with their goats. They didn't have any goat figurines. They didn't have any goat figures in the objects thing here. Although I did download an update recently. I wonder if they added anything. We can check. Goat? Nope, still just boat sales. What if we go up? Do they have like animal? They don't have animal. What about like farm or barn or something? Fish, fire, no, floating, food. Kind of count that. Yeah, they have the whole section for horse, but none for animal. So I'm guessing that means, especially since the search was fruitless, I'm guessing that means that they did not add goats for us. So, oh, I suppose somehow we'll have to just live with that disappointment. We'll find a way. Or if we don't, that's really not their problem. That's for us to figure out. But I have faith in us that we can make it through just fine. All right. So we were working on this dungeon, this part of the dungeon, and I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out. We have a very unique type of battle map here. It's not your conventional, rooms with doors and everything here. It's the huts, the buildings themselves are the walls, or rather the huts. They're the homes of the giants, and the spaces for the players include the interior rooms. There are a couple exterior rooms, but also areas in between or in the walls that they can kind of sneak through. And it's a little goofy because it would make more sense for the giants to just find big boulders and mortar them together rather than having a double layered wall that would presumably have insulation. I don't think they're that sophisticated, but we'll just kind of hand wave that one and not worry about it too much. It's always important to remember that you have to balance when we're talking about writing things for D&D, for Dungeons and Dragons, or really any tabletop RPG. You want to balance that realism and believability with remembering that you're just trying to have some fun with it, right? You're just ultimately playing a game with your friends. So is it the most realistic thing that the giants would have hollow walls for the players to run in and out of? No, but it's fine. It's fine. It makes for a fun, interesting map. And to be sure, this is one of the more interesting maps I feel I've ever made, and I am really happy about it existing now, so that one day I can use it in one of my games. But that's what we did last time, and if I'm remembering, we did finish all of the details for that particular map. The one thing I just want to check here is I don't know if there are any other sort of overall notes that I want to add to this. So I'm just going to review kind of what we put in this paragraph here and think about adding or changing or editing whatever we need to, just to make sure it's just right. I think it's pretty close as it is. We have here, this area is meant to simulate small people being in a giant village, right? So that's what the players are. The spaces between the walls are wall interiors that players are small enough to fit in and move around through. Ultimately, the goal here is for players to reach the well, drop in some poison, and then get out. There are places where players may find themselves discovered or chased by giants. Do your best to make it clear that the players should not try to fight, but rather use the walls to get out of dodge. No, I think that covers it. I don't think we need a whole lot of extra detail on top of that. And we have all of our character stuff, including Doomwake giants. So if they do insist upon fighting the giants, we do have our notes for them to at least face one of them, Zelnart here. And I mean, truthfully, for as screwed as the players are going to be, we could easily, if we want to make it so that the whole village is after them and they try to take on a couple giants at once, we could really just use the same character for a whole lot of things. Because really all they do is slam, and then they have their noxious gust, which is fun, simulating the putrid stench that emanates from every part of them, interior and exterior. I think that's really fun. I will always be tickled by the concept of a giant that half his weapons are the fact that he smells like farts. I mean, it's just childish enough to be silly, while still being something that it's like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Giants living in the mountain, they probably aren't that worried about bathing daily. Take the the American Civil War approach of it's unhealthy to bathe more than once a week. There's your fun fact for the day. It was actually a thing during the Civil War. And really any combat during those eras, where many times generals would have difficulty keeping their armies healthy, because many people held firmly to the belief that it was healthier for like the skin and the hair to bathe once a week at most. And so, yeah, people would just get sick. They would get like rashy, and and they'd get infections on cuts and wounds and everything because they weren't washing regularly. So there's your fun fact for the day. The more you know. We've learned something. So, and I always say it's a good day if you learn something. So there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome, because everyone was asking for that. So the next stage of this, so this is kind of a unique dungeon in that it's not just a singular dungeon that goes directly from one floor to the next. We're kind of conducting this whole region as one dungeon, where this is the first part, and the next two parts are the shrine that's up here, with some days of travel here. One thing that I thought of, actually, we're on this map here, so this is a reasonable time to consider this and to think about this and maybe make some changes here. One thing I've been thinking about is sort of making sure things stay consistent when we're discussing time it takes to travel along a pathway. This is definitely a fringe concept of D&D that is not always utilized depending on the group. I tend to classify it as kind of the same as keeping track of arrows and ammunition, or keeping track of spell components. Some groups really like it. Some players really like that challenge of having to keep those things in mind. Keep in mind what their pack weight is versus how much they want to carry in terms of ammunition. Things like that. Some groups are really into that, while other groups just find it very tedious and disinteresting. And it's definitely a good example of something that I feel there's no right or wrong. It's just all about what players want to do. And I put traveling sort of on par with that. It's something that some players are going to really enjoy, sort of the added time that it adds to a campaign to sort of dilate that a little bit and make things feel grand, make distances feel bigger, feel longer. While other groups are going to see that and be like, this is really tedious. Even if you add other little encounters and stuff into it, they'll feel like this is tedious. I'm just itching to get to our next location. Can we just fast forward? And as far as travel goes, I have played either way, and I actually tend to sort of, with a lot of groups, I'll land on a sort of mid-ground where it's like if it's the first time that they're traveling along a pathway, we take the time to describe the journey, so that way they can kind of get an understanding for how the scene is changing, how the atmosphere is changing, get a sense for the distance and how far away this is. But then after that first time, any other time they travel that same length of distance, then we kind of just fast travel affect it. That's the balance I found that most groups that I've led so far have appreciated. Personally, I mean, if we're talking about just pure personal preference, I actually really enjoy a game that gets into the nitty-gritty of those details. And I feel like that's just a factor of my personality, and you can see that in the way that I'm writing these things. You know, where if we're pulling up my notes, I'm taking the time to add these backstory notes about characters, about artifacts, about factions, different schools of magic. All of these things have a place here. And so my personal preference is to kind of lean into that kind of heavy, right? Lean into that nitty-gritty. I like that detail. I like the feeling of something being grand. I'm definitely the kind of person who is happiest when I get to focus on the process, not the outcome, if that makes sense. And it's just a personality quirk. This is definitely not anything that, you should be like this. It's like, no. Because of that, I tend to take a lot of time to finish things. And I know at my occupation, I have supervisors that sometimes it drives them nuts because I can absolutely work very efficiently if I choose to. But the flip side of it is if you tell me that I have 2 weeks to work on something, even if I could, in theory, get it done in 1 week, I will take those 2 weeks, and I will really get into the process and make it nitty-gritty. And that sometimes drives supervisors and bosses insane because they think that they can get more productivity out of me if I were to just let go of that a little bit, but that's not how I operate, at least not in ideal situations. So at any rate, the reason I bring that up is because I've been thinking about these pathways here, and one thing that I think would be handy to provide here for ourselves when we're thinking about running this campaign in the future, right? When we're trying to think about making things clear for ourselves when we return to this, I think it would be really helpful to just put a little note along any distinct pathway, right? That just says how many days it would take to travel, like the number of miles and the number of days. Using miles just because I'm in America where miles are more prevalent, so that's much more likely to speak to my audience. If you're in pretty much any other country except for there's like 2 countries like South Africa or something and like one other country that use the imperial feet inches system more than they use the meters centimeters system. Truthfully speaking, I'm a big fan of meters and kilometers and all that stuff, because it's just so much easier to do math that way. It's all divisible by 10. It makes so much more sense than 12 inches, makes a foot, and 3 feet make a yard. It's confusing. It makes no sense. But then again, that's the world I live in, and that'll speak more to people. So I stick with that. But the point is, I'm kind of rambling and ranting about it. The point is, put a little note that says what the distance is, right? The approximate distance that will be traveled, and the approximate amount of time it would take to finish that. So that way, when we return to this, if I don't run this campaign for anyone for like 2 years, that's fine. If I can have those notes be right there and ready, then I don't even have to sit there and think like, okay, wait, hold on, where's my measuring tool? How far is this? And so it just makes things quicker and easier. And like I say, it's all about trying to make our job easier when we come to it. Future me will be very thankful if present me, to future me it'll be past me, but then at that time future me will be present me. Look, I will be happy in the future if right now I take the time to do it. So there is a measuring tool here, and we can just go here, use map scale units. We want that on. So, and we can kind of partition it a little bit. I'm not going to follow every little contour, but I'm going to follow them to a degree just to account for the bends here. So we're looking at about 116 miles. We can roughly assume, you know, for easier math, we can put that at about 120. On level ground, traveling by foot or traveling at a walking pace because they have a cart with supplies with them, a party can expect to go about 30 miles in a day, is what I think it is. Or maybe it's 30 miles by horse, less by foot. Either way, just for the sake of simplicity, regardless of how players are traveling, I assume 30 miles is about a day of travel. If you're a kilometer person, you'll have to do some math on that one. My apologies. But that's well, you know what, because I'm that great of a guy, we're gonna do 30 miles to kilometers. Let's do that. About 50 kilometers. There you go. 50 kilometers in a day. You're welcome. Welcome. You can thank me later. Thank me later with gifts and wealth and fame and fortune. Or just by nodding and going, oh, that was nice of him. That's good enough too. Anywhere between those two, anywhere on that spectrum is an acceptable thank you, as far as I'm concerned. But at any rate, 120 miles we'll assume. If we assume about 30 miles per day, like I say, just regardless of how quick they're traveling, unless there's something that's really intentionally dragging them down, then I'll slow it down. Like if there's something really specific that'll slow them down, I'll account for it. But generally speaking, I allow 30 miles per day. So if we're looking at 120 miles-ish, we're looking at about roughly 4 days worth of travel on this journey. That's significant. That's a significant amount. So let's go ahead and do that here. What does water look like? What is that? Whoa, that's big. We'll have to adjust that a little bit here. Let's try 28. Let's see how that goes. Hey, Dark Forest, how's it going? You made a dragon. Like, what do you mean? Like, in real life you made a dragon? Because that'd be rad. Although I'm guessing that's probably not what you mean. Let's see here. I gotta figure out how small I want to make this here. In D&D Beyond. Oh, nice. Nice. So are you talking about a, like a homebrew monster stat block? Oh, that's real small. It's a little smaller than I want. Maybe we can do 10. Nice. Awesome. Good on you. What sets that dragon apart? What sets the dragon apart from rules as written? That's what I'm curious about. Let's see here. Okay, I'm messing around with our fonts a little bit just to try and keep things looking. Because if we sharpen, that will change it. But if we make our font color just black, maybe that'll sharpen it up a little bit. It doesn't need to be super obvious. It's more so it's there if we're looking for it. So I think that's okay. What does that do? I don't know what that does. Whatever. Okay. Let's see here. 300 armor to start with? You'll have to explain that one to me. I'm not sure how that ends up working out for players to have a chance. Are you saying armor class, or like you using armor as a primary hit bar, so it's got like two hit bars of health? Is that what you're saying? Let's see here. 116 miles. 4 days travel. I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Come on, phone. Don't throw a fit on me right now. There we go. Alright, see, the problem is it's just so blurry. I'm worried that, like, in the future, seeing that will make it tough to see too much. 14 is better. How small can we make it and have the sharpen fonts actually be helpful and not hurtful here? 16. Not that much. 17. Oh wait, hold on. I could probably just use the arrows. Yeah, so we gotta get it real big there if we want to sharpen the fonts. Okay, how small can we make this? I guess, okay, 17. I guess we could get away with 18. 18 is not too big, and that kind of makes it pretty clear that we're working on a on some just sort of secondary information there. So we can do that right there. That's fine. I think that works out just fine. Let's see here. It's made to be a final boss. Nice. Yeah, it would have to be. It'd have to be if it has 2 health bars, but that's rad. I do have a Discord. You can find the link to it on Twitch, on my Twitch channel. I don't know if I set up the stuff properly. I know there's ways that you can like have it spit the thing out at you in the chat, but I'm such a novice with all that kind of stuff. I don't know how to make that work. So one of these days I should learn if I want to actually be good at this, but you know, one day, one step at a time. But yes, I do have a Discord. I do absolutely have a Discord, and you are 100% welcome to join it. I encourage it. Okay. So that looks good. I like that. Whoops. No, I don't want that there. There we go. Let's do that there. So yeah, I just kind of want to take a minute and get all of these distances kind of measured out and figured out in that regard. Just to sort of know and have that there for quick reference. I'm going to get this one here from the city to our intersect point, and then from the intersect point down to our forward base there. But let's do this one first. I want to measure from here. Let's do a handful of points here. So 88, so about 90 miles. Alright, so let's get ourselves a label going here. So I'll make it 88 miles, and that'll be about 3 days travel. Curvature is already pretty good. I'm gonna put it right here, I think. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty clear that that belongs there. Oops, I did it again. Played with your heart. Alright, let's see here. Hey, Teus Flips. Yeah, we are. Well, kind of. We're doing a few edits before getting back to working a bit more on a dungeon that we've been working on here. But I had a thought about doing my maps here, mostly that I wanted to just put little notes regarding distances on our travel pathways. Our travel pathways. Every pathway is a travel pathway on our pathways. So that way, you know, years in the future when I pull this dusty thing out and decide I want to run this campaign again, or at any point, there's those quick notes that are there just to make things a bit easier for myself. It's one of those, I will be very thankful, in the future, I will be very thankful to myself if I take the time to do this. So I'm just kind of measuring out some distances here. Oh wow, 120 miles right on the button. That's perfect. That's perfect. So we'll do another label here. 120 miles, 4 days travel. Travel. There we go. Doesn't show up. Are you talking about the Discord thing? Yeah, like I say, I don't know if I've got it set up properly. You can find it on my channel page though. The Discord link. It's definitely there. It's definitely there. All right, there we go. That's good enough. That'll do right there. You look there. It's not there, huh? I don't know what to tell you. It's there. Other people have been able to find it. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out later and make sure it's still there. Make sure something didn't happen to it. Let's see here. There we go. Map tool looks really nice. This is a wonderful tool. I'm using Wonderdraft. Highly recommend it. Absolutely highly recommend it. It is a wonderful tool. It makes very nice looking maps. This is the map of the region that we're working with to make our campaign. It's a little barren right now. We're adding things as we go. But yes, it's a very lovely tool. I am a big fan of it, and I will happily encourage others to use it all the time because it's a great tool. Let's see here. Now let's measure this one. This one's going to be a little funky because it goes here. The other thing about this one is because it's through the mountains, I'm thinking we'll add a little bit of time to it. This isn't just like going on a nice level pathway through the plains. This is going to be a different scenario here. Nice, relaxing D&D stream. I was actually just talking about that when I was getting started. It's kind of a funny thing. My streams, like I was kind of commenting just on how, like there's on Twitch, there's so much of the high octane, high energy streams, and I feel like my energy is much more just like in the Bob Ross school of stuff, where it's more so we're just chilling and making things. So I try to keep it nice and chill. When I'm streaming video games, I tend to get a bit more energetic depending on the game, but even then I don't play multiplayer and stuff, so it's much more just it's just sort of pleasant gaming is what I kind of go for. Do I run any campaigns on the stream? Not presently. I'm part of two groups. One of them I'm a player in, one of them I do DM. And some of my players for the game that I DM have talked about wanting to try doing a podcast. But the thing that I've warned them about, because they're all pretty new to the game and they're just like really enamored by it. And the thing I've warned them about is like, okay, but if we're going to do that, you realize we're going to be expected to regularly play all of us and have no one miss a single session, or at least, miss only 1 or 2 sessions per year if we're going to just do a weekly thing. And they immediately were like, oh, well, maybe not, because all of them are flaky and horrible at calendars. So there's been talks of it, and we might someday, but presently I do not. Presently I do not. It would be fun. It would be fun. I wouldn't mind doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Podcasts have a lot of editing and stuff like that. Streaming would definitely be my approach. My preferred thing. I mean, that's why I stream rather than put YouTube content. I mean, I put my VODs on YouTube, but I don't really have a lot of editing know-how. It's very minimal, my editing know-how. And on top of that, I do not have the time to edit and make, slim down an hour of recording into a 20-minute video or something. I just do not have the time for that much. As much as I would love to, I just do not have the ability to do that in my life presently. But, never say never. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. All right, so this pathway going down here to this, from this tribe to this tribe, 37 miles. So let's do label 37 miles. We'll say I'm going to put it at 2 days travel. If players want to say that they're like really rushing to get through it, they can, and it's possible. Oh man, this one. See, now this is the hard part. This is going to look a little funky because of this. Yeah, because see, look at how. I don't know if I like that too much. Honestly, it just looks really cluttered, doesn't it? Let's see here. Do I have a favorite live play D&D podcast? Ooh. So if we're talking podcasts, there are 3 that I'm a big fan of. They're higher production value. There's a lot of other smaller ones that are fun to watch, but if we're talking about the ones that I consistently try to keep up with these days, and these days, like different ones will change depending on what campaigns and stuff they're doing. But my favorites are, I am a big fan of Critical Role. I think that one gives me my dramatic, my drama fix, because they do cover a lot of very dramatic, very intense things there. So I really like that one just for getting my sort of like dramatic roleplay fix. especially because they're all voice actors, so they're all very, very talented at that kind of stuff. So I enjoy that one. And then for the more goofy, give me wacky ideas to present to my players, and I really like Adventure Zone, and I also really like Dungeons and Daddies. Those two on top of Critical Role, those kind of cover a wide variety, with a wide variety of themes, from like your traditional high fantasy Lord of the Rings-esque theme that you get much more staunchly adhering to in Critical Role, to just like the goofy out there wild different settings and even different rule sets that like Adventure Zone uses and stuff. Those ones are probably my favorites. Yeah, okay, so you've heard of them. That's great. Hey Brubel, how's it going? I'm glad you've returned. I don't know where you went. But I'm glad you've returned safely and triumphant, I assume. That would make me happy. All right. So, okay, I'm going to be honest, I'm not super thrilled with this. It looks kind of weird and messy there. But I don't know that the resolution of this map is going to allow me to make it any smaller, is the problem we're running into here. So I think that's just going to be... And that's just going to have to be how it is. And we'll try this one. This one's inherently going to look better because we just have so much more room to work with. But how long have I been streaming on Twitch altogether? I started Twitch streaming last winter. Because I never really... I always enjoyed watching streams and VODs and YouTubes and stuff like that. I always really liked a lot of the shows that people produce. And I always watched them, but then when COVID first started, I was moved to working from home, and then over time, as is happening with a lot of situations, my superiors realized we can let people do this. We can let people continue to work from home, and save ourselves a little bit of money on office space rental. So once that started looking like it was a permanent thing, that freed up a lot of time and ability for me to give it a try. So I decided to give it a try, and it was last winter that I first started. So at this point in time, I've been going for about, I don't know, maybe somewhere around 8 months or so. I think that's about how long I've been going. I don't know. I'd have to go back and actually look, because I had tried streaming a little bit back in college, but it never really stuck around because it was just me being curious about it and never really actually having time to do it. But yeah, that's about how long I've been doing it. So I'm kind of starting to get the hang of it just a little bit. That's what you mean by returned. I'm talking about the events of last week. Thankful to have returned for sure. Oh, well, that sounds dramatic. That sounds like there's a story involved there. But if you're thankful to have returned, then I'm glad for it too. I'm glad for it too. Gonna lurk. Oh yeah, sure thing, John. Glad you're here. Like I always say, lurkers are as welcome as participants, and I find the fact that people would lurk and just want to listen to what I'm doing at all, I find that flattering. So you lurk away, my friend. So 67 miles. Let's see here. So go to our label here, our label. Let's put a new one here. 67 miles, which would take probably about 3 days through the mountains to do. 3 days travel. Yeah, on the fonts on the mountains here are not super pleasing to the eye. It does not look as slick as out in the open there, but like I say, there's just not... I mean, we could try and get a background or something, like our font color. We could try and... I mean, we've got the font color as black as we can get it there. What is the slider? I mean, I guess we could do that to make it stand out a bit more. But I think the hard part is because I have such a large map, going here, zooming in this much, the pixelation just gets intense. So I think that's just how it's going to be. That's just how it's going to be. And honestly, that's fine. This is more so for DM notes anyway. I have a much more slimmed down version to provide players. So that works. That works. Let's hear. In the hospital? Oh, man, that's not good. COVID complications. That sucks. Wow. Wow, wait, that is quite the that's quite the harrowing experience, Brubel. Definitely glad you came out of it. Definitely glad you came out of it. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's really rough. That's really rough, and that's really unfortunate. But yes, definitely, I think we can say very glad that you have returned. You know, maybe a little worse for the wear. I'm sorry about that. That's unfortunate, but if you're here at all, that is better than the alternative. So I am very glad that you're here. Very, very glad that you're here. Hey, thank you for the follow there, TS Flips. Am I saying that right? TS Flips? Either way, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you're here, and I appreciate that I'm flattered that it's interesting enough that you would want to listen to me ramble about stuff more. Alright, so let's see here. Oops, no, I need to do that and zoom out. So, okay, that's all I really wanted to do there with the map at this moment in time. I just wanted to add some labels there, and I'll have to remember to kind of keep doing that. But that's just a quick notes type of thing to make things easier for us whenever we come around to pulling it back up. Because, like, that's one of my least favorite things. I'll write something, and then a year later I'll pull it up and be like, what was I thinking? I have no idea what's going on here. So the more notes we add to our stuff here, the better. For sure. So, okay, that's good. I'm going to click save here just to make sure we don't lose everything. That's it. Teus Flips. Okay. All right. Got it. I will likely forget it. But I will do my best not to. Okay, what do you got, Brubel? I'll let it feel. Yeah. Oh, I can believe that. Yeah, that would definitely be a lonely thing for sure. Because you're right. I mean, if they're playing it safe, they're minimizing contact with anyone else. Because it's, you know, if it's contagious, you don't want to spread it to other people, so you minimize contact. So, yeah, I can see how that would be a very, very difficult mental hurdle to have to get over. So kudos to you for making it through that in every sense, physically and mentally. Like I say, glad you've returned 100%. All right. Let's see here. So, what we've been working on here, before that little aside of labeling our distances here, we're working on our dungeon that's actually kind of a combination of two places between our Kalarn tribe and the mountain shrine here. We already have part of it here. What are the plans for streaming? What would I like to achieve and create? Honestly, it for me more than anything right now, it's just fun. I enjoy doing it. I started off doing the writing stream just because it occurred to me that, like, you see a whole lot of articles about different ways to approach making homebrew D&D stuff, but they tend to always be by dungeon masters for dungeon masters, right? In the sense that they assume you already know a lot about homebrewing and a lot about playing and all of that kind of stuff, and there's very little that actually sort of like takes you through step by step the process of it. And so I thought, like, well, why don't I just like stream the process so that anyone stops by, they can just like actually see what goes into writing it, because like there's very little discussion on like, do you write things in you know, on pen and paper? How do you organize things? What kind of information should you think about putting into a map or to a character? All that kind of stuff. And after being involved in D&D for like 10 years and being a DM for like 8 of those years, I've learned a handful of things. I'm far from an excellent DM, but I think I'm a passable one. And I spend a lot of time homebrewing stuff because I before getting involved in D&D, I liked to do world building as just a hobby, writing stories and creating worlds and all that kind of stuff. I was really into that. So I thought, like, well, why don't I just try streaming it and see if people are interested in that? And, you know, there are a handful of people interested in it. So I thought, like, great, I guess I'll just keep doing it because it's fun. For me, it's kind of a relaxing, chill thing to do. It's kind of fun to talk out loud and narrate my process. It helps me be more mindful about what I'm writing and why I'm doing it, and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I've noticed an improvement in my creations as I've been doing it too. So I kind of just do it as an exercise for that. Video game streaming more so just because it's fun when people stop in and we can laugh about goofy things that happen in games together. But really, that's where it's at for me. I just do it for fun. If I ever could do it as a career, I think that'd be great. But I don't really have that as a goal in mind for myself, just because the volatility of it. Like, you have to keep up. You really have to get engaged with understanding what is popular at the moment, what systems, you know, how to appease different systems and algorithms and stuff like that. Like, you really have to get into the nitty-gritty if you want this to be a successful full-time thing. And to me, I feel like that would take away a lot of the fun of it. So I don't really have intentions of doing that. If it just sort of grows over time and turns into that, I won't fight it. But really, right now, I'm kind of content because my day job, I'm an environmental health regulator for my local state government. And that's my day job, and that helps me pay off my student loans and stuff like that. So I have a certain number of years that I'm committed to that regardless, to pay off my student loans and everything. But that's a stable job, and I'm really fortunate. It's a stable job that lets me work from home and affords me the freedom to do these types of things for fun. So I like that I can just do my streams without worrying about trying to turn a profit or anything like that. It's a fun thing to do. You know, I'm not dependent on you guys, but that I feel like helps make my product a bit better because I'm not sitting here trying to appease as many people as possible. So I don't churn out generic stuff. I'm churning out my stuff. Plus, that way, I don't feel bad about taking people's money for whatever mediocre product I'm producing at any given time. So yeah, like, long term, I don't know that I really have goals. It's more so just hopefully keep having free time to keep doing it. And if it can turn into a side gig or, you know, an actual thing to make money, and then I guess, like I say, I won't fight it. But that's not really what I'm in it for. I'm just in it because it's fun. Just in it because it's fun. Let's see. Okay, I missed something from Ruble, adding some more context, I'm guessing. Next day. Yeah, it's fair. Wow, your dad is your dad is he's a trooper. He's a trooper and dedicated to go through all of that for you. And, you know, nice to see. I'm somewhat you know, I have a lot of training in medicine and in science and everything, so I'm a big proponent of anyone getting any type of vaccine. Always have been, and I always will be. So glad to hear that too. Glad to hear that we got someone else vaccinated. But also glad that he was able to sort of help you out and support you in that way. Let's see here. Gabby, hi. How's it going? Glad to see you. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you so much for asking. All animal folk are sons of awakened animals that got more humanoid after each gen. Ah, interesting. All right. Fair enough. I feel that. Let's see here. Like that. Have you had any thoughts of going affiliate? Like I say, I'm kind of just like, by existing in the Twitch ecosystem, like, it kind of automatically steps you towards that, but it really has not been something that I've been actively pursuing, because again, I don't really care to make this something that is about making money. It could be a decent passive way to earn some money, but it's like, as soon as you kind of dive into that, there are now expectations to maintain that and everything within Twitch algorithms, within what you produce for people. There's like expectations that come with it. So I don't know that I'm really all that concerned about it. If they're for whatever reason, if people start really wanting me to, I'm not against it per se, but I like the pace things are going right now with the stream, and I'm content to just kind of sit and let it percolate and let it just kind of brew there. I feel like if I'm going to do something for, like, if I'm going to turn this into a for money type of thing, I'm much more likely to take the Patreon route and like have that be a way where like dedicated people can tell me specifically what about my streams they like and give me suggestions on what type of campaign I should work on next. When it comes to video games, what type of game should I play next? You know, give that as an option for like rewards for people. I feel like that's sort of more the route I would take, but like I say, I because I don't want to make it a career in the long run, then I just yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not something I'm opposed to, but it's just not something I've really given a whole lot of serious thought for. But who knows? It may be in half a year or a year, my mind will change about that. Maybe things will change and it'll become a much more feasible thing for me to think about making it a career choice earlier than I would have ever thought possible. So maybe I will. I mean, it's kind of like with my kickboxing. I had always figured that one day I would like to be a kickboxing instructor because it's been such an important part of my life for so long. And I had always kind of figured, like, hey, you know, if we're around by the time I'm like age 40, I can sort of wind down from trying to compete and train real hard and start training. That'd be great. And here I am, before I even turn 30, I teach beginners classes. So it's like, you know, sometimes these things move really fast, and I'm not avoiding anything. I'm just not pursuing it either. So anyway, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, what do we got, Brew? Speaking of homebrew, last time the first monster was CR30 at that. I do vaguely remember that. A lot of people share a lot of cool things, so I don't know that I remember details. But I do remember you saying that. Put more work into it. Stuck on what spells to give it. I mean, at CR30, I think you're obligated to give it spells at that point in time. But I don't even have close to a strong enough memory about what it was to know what types of spells it would do. But I think at CR30, I think you can't go wrong with adding spells. At CR30, we're talking, you know, destroyer of gods, let alone mortal men. So I think definitely I think going into it, you know, just as a baseline, spells are the way to go for sure. I want to hear about your rabbit folk, aka the heron gun. You should, Gabby, you should put that. You should join the Discord and put it in there, so I can actually have like a good amount of time to like sit there and actually read about it. Cause like whenever people share really interesting things with me in the chat, like I really want to, but things move so fast, and I'm trying to like also make sure that I'm actually, you know, working on the campaign that I'm working on and stuff. I never feel like I give it due like thought and consideration. So I would love to hear about it, but you should put it in the Discord. I have thought about doing like at the beginning of any streaming session, do like, you know, like beginning or the end, do like a Discord member feature where it's like I can talk about the stuff that people are sharing to sort of highlight what you guys are doing. But then also that's hard because I don't want people to think that it's my ideas, because you have good ideas and stuff like that. But at any rate, that's what I would say you should do. You can find the link to my to my Discord in my in the about page on my Twitch channel, or in the about section. You can find it there if you're not already a member. Because yes, I would love to hear about all of your guys' stuff. But the Discord's a great place to do it, because then we can actually have like good discussions about it. Let's see here, like custom emotes for Twitch. That's fair. See, like for me, I don't really, when I'm watching Twitch, I'm a participant, so I never really got into that kind of stuff. I'm a lurker. I'm a lurker. I'm not an active participant. So, but I know some people are super into it. So that's why I mean, like, if people start saying like, oh, you got to get this stuff going, like, I'm willing to change my mind and to learn. You know, we'll see one day. Never got linked to the Discord like we were just talking about. Yes, in my about page, or in my about section on my Twitch channel. I don't know, man. It's so, when you look at my channel, you can see just how amateur everything is. So, but yeah, you can check it out there. Let's see here. Both Discord and here. I mean, if you're that determined, you can put it here. I'll give it a cursory glance, but it's not going to be a very detailed look. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will look at it in much more detail later when I have the time. I've got kind of a small backlog of like private messages and stuff people are putting on Discord that I need to catch up on because my life is busy and I have like 15 hacky sacks I'm juggling in the air right now. But I do love all of the ideas that you guys come up with. So that's it. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll take like a few seconds here. Inherent culture. Every major achievement adds charm to their bracelet or necklace. Charm. Oh, nice. Okay, that's cute. That's cute. I appreciate that. I can appreciate that. It's like base of the culture is charms. It's like a friendlier version of the social credit system. Where it's just like if you do good things, you get like it's maybe more akin to like the Boy Scout patch system, where it's like you get where you get like a patch for doing good things. I dig it. I dig it. I feel it. Okay, let's see. What in the world was I working on here? Okay, right. We're working on a dungeon. we're working on a dungeon. Let's see. It's been posted with a model. Excellent. Excellent. I will not nearly as soon as I should. Take the time to look at it. I will do it. I promise I will. It's just about when I get time. I have, as a baseline, every weekday I have stuff happening in the evenings. So it's like if I'm lucky on weekends, I'll have like a day to take some time off. Do I stream any video games? Yes, I do. After this, we've got about another hour on the writing stream that I'll do here, and then after that, I take a short break, and then I'll be back for roughly 2 hours of video gaming. Right now, we're kind of on the tail end of playing Mass Effect 3. The Legendary Edition dropped, and Mass Effect is like one of my favorite games. It could easily just actually be my favorite game series of all time. It's certainly up there. So when the Legendary Edition dropped, I absolutely spent all my money on it. And I absolutely have been playing through it again. And I absolutely have been going nice and slow and doing all of the side quests and everything. So that's what we're working on right now. But we're getting to the tail end of it, and I haven't really figured out what I'm going to stream next. So, but yeah, if you wanna check that out, I'll be streaming right after this. Is the plan. It's always the caveat with all of my streams are because I have a day job that always takes precedent first. Like I say, if things are slow and just the nature of working from home, I kind of have the freedom. But if things come up, then I have to go. It doesn't happen very often, thank goodness. But sometimes it happens. But as of right now, yes, I will be streaming Mass Effect 3 later this afternoon. So hang out for that. Let's see here. Well, those games, I mean, who doesn't? They're excellent games. So it's 100 foot tall, and Wendigo's wild druids live inside of it. Awesome. It's like its own dungeon inside of it. Want to play the Legendary? Absolutely recommend if you love the series. There's not a whole lot different other than a few quality of life changes that they made to a few things. The Mako is much easier to drive, which to me is kind of a bummer because the difficulty of it was part of the hilarity. And they also kind of changed the galactic readiness of Mass Effect 3 a little bit. But other than that, it all looks gorgeous, and I love it. I'm a huge fan of it. I got the ideal thing about the cereal specifically how I want it. Lucky Charms. Okay, fair enough. Saw a bracelet on the table. There you go. Oh, there you go. Gabby, I would not say that's weird at all. I think that's actually a very natural chain of comparisons. Talking about magical charms. I mean, that's the whole shtick of Lucky Charms. And if you're someone who's just into bracelets and charm bracelets, then naturally it would go there. So I don't think that's weird at all. I think that's a perfectly rational train of thought. I should actually write something here. This whole stream is about writing, and I haven't done hardly any. So we've been working on what we've been working on is a bit of a dungeon because we have our campaign. And the dungeon that we're working on is kind of actually two dungeons rolled into one. But we're kind of counting it as one because it's meant to take players. This section of the campaign is meant to take players from level 3 to level 4. Gotta go for now. Hey, you know what? Anytime you stop by for any amount of time is appreciated by me. I'm grateful that you stopped by. I'm grateful for the follow, and looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you for stopping by. In your newer world, there are no halflings or gnomes. Ah, man, you're giving them the shaft, eh? Giving them the nicks, cutting them out, giving them the hook. I'm sure you have a good reason for it. But you can't remember they exist. Oh, wow. There you go. There it is. There it is. All right, let's see here. So we finished our first section of the map of this dungeon, which was our little little giant village. Get it? Get the oxymoron because they're giants. They're not little. It's not funny. So we've got our we've got just a small segment of our giant village, because the players were sort of called upon, or rather, it was like a deal they made with the other giant tribe. That's the friendly giant tribe. That the friendly tribe said, okay, here's where the shrine is that you need to go. We gave you this information. Please do us a favor and go poison these guys' water supply, poison the water hole, as it were, so that way we can invade them in like a day or two and have an easy time asserting our dominance and defeating that other tribe. So that's what this whole spiel, this whole part is about. But now, so we got that one figured out, but now we need to add another layer. I always just put all of the layers of the dungeon, of a singular level, in one big thing, because you can save them as separate PDFs, but then it kind of keeps them in one packet, and honestly, it just means that my filing system is a little less cluttered. A little less cluttered in there. So, what's my favorite race? Oh, that's a tough one. I like a lot of them. I think they're all really interesting. If I had to pick a favorite, I guess I would go with changelings, just because, like, there's just so much fun about a character that can change their appearance at will. And they just make me think of Mystique from X-Men, who I think Mystique is such an interesting character. So I guess just like on a whim I would say that, but even then, like, I don't know that I'm necessarily comfortable picking a favorite, because I think there's a whole lot of really cool races that can be really fun to use and play with. That came out wrong. That sounds weird without context. There's a whole lot of races that are fun to use. Thanks for coming to my awkward TED Talk. Chaos Stars, how's it going, Chaos? Good to see you. Good to see you. Tie between Dwarf and Dragonborn? That's fair. That's fair. Those are both really cool races. Very powerful races. I feel that. I feel that. What am I doing? I need to add another layer. Let's add another level here. Create a level. Call this one Shrine Level 1. Because I like the word better. I don't know why. So we've got a new level here, and that can be up. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Announce that in your main group. Call the Dwarven board. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I always feel like those half races, right? The half orc or the half elf, right? I always am like, you know, it's always assumed that the other half is human, but what if the other half isn't human? You know, what does that mean? Do we just like automatically focus on, you know, it's like harsh to the humans to give them the shaft on being the half. Why can't it be a half human? They're half one thing. Well, that means that the other half something else, right? I don't know. Just seems a little rude to me, if you ask me. But you know, whatever. So you're the smallest in the group. Oh man, are you just with a group of Goliaths or something? All right, let's see here. We're definitely going with mountain. Turn that on there. Doesn't look like a mountain at all. Mountain. I don't want the terrain to be limestone. I want that to be snow, I guess. Oh, well, okay, never mind. Where's the frickin'... where'd the limestone go? Oh, it's right there. Right in front of my face. No, I want to do this... Well, I guess what I really want to do is I want to make it rocky and then add patches of snow. Let's just make this really big here, just so this goes quicker. Whee! Boom. There we go. Taken care of. Let's see here. There's the book Ancestry and Culture, where there's rules for creating any mixed ancestry characters. There would be. I am not familiar with that one, but that actually makes perfect sense that someone somewhere would have taken the time to make that. Yeah, that's how I want this to look. I actually really like the way that looks, because now we can just kind of add some patches of snow and add some thick patches there. It's not really going to matter a whole lot because it's a shrine, so pretty much all of it is going to take place on the interior there. But that kind of gets the effect that I'm looking for there on like a mountaintop. Third-party book. Yeah, I figured it would be because I do have I am I'm willing to say proud owner of most of the official books out there. I'm a bit of a simp for those books. I think they are lovely, especially the collector's editions. Those covers, they're so gorgeous every time. They got the holofoil stuff going on there. The Icewind Dale one is my favorite. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful book. It's so beautiful. Oh, it's pretty. At any rate, I don't know. Tangent. We'll avoid that tangent because I could talk about that one for too long. But let's see here. All right, I think that looks good. So we're making a shrine here, and it's gonna be, so this one's, again, it's gonna be kind of an interesting one to figure out a good scale for, and I'm almost tempted to just do it like as in half and half and have it be a single story, because this is a shrine that's supposed to have been designed by giants for giants. So I kind of want to, let's go here. I kind of am thinking I'm thinking that it would be good to find an excuse to have this like just be like, this is half of it and the other half is like the half that goes up there or something like that. But because I don't know that the giants would bother making a second story. I mean, thinking about the logistics of creating a staircase and a second story that would be big enough and strong enough to properly house, you know, something that's like 20 feet tall. That's an architectural feat right there. And I don't know that the giants, at least not the giants as I have them within the lore of my world, I don't know that they have the know-how to get that done. So I think that's how I want to do it. But I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna look. So let's just do my favorite approach, which is throw a bunch of crap on here and see what sticks. I want to make this stone flooring. We'll use the cobblestone walls here. No, that's gonna be too big. Undo that. Undo. Too big for a giant thing. That's one of the silliest things I maybe have said on stream, but oh well. We're just gonna walk past that. I kind of want to give it almost like a cathedral feel. I need to make that bigger. Is that even? Wait, how many squares is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to make this one bigger. There we go. Now it's 9 by 9. There we go. I'm like a chicken. Once we get above 3, it's just many. I can't count past 3. Well, clearly I can. I just counted, but like visually I can't. Can't comprehend. Okay. So we can do that, and we could like we could do something like actually do it like that and kind of have like a grand entryway or something like that. It's not the worst. It's not the worst. I actually don't know that I like it being tiered like that. I think I prefer that, and it's like we got a grand entrance, because this whole thing is gonna have to be like doorway, right? Because it's like a double door for a human would be these two, a double door for a giant would be these 4 right here. So what it's gonna end up looking like, right? If we just have like our stone portal here, boom, 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 boom. There's our like double door, right? That just fills up the whole thing. And mechanically speaking, when we use this, you know, because with one of my groups, the way we're able to make sure we play weekly is we play online. So that way we don't have to figure out the logistics of traveling places. And, you know, those with like, you know, families and stuff like that, they can quickly dip out if they need to help handle a bath time or something like that. Both of my groups are online, I should clarify. One of the groups, none of us have kids or anything, but the point stands. We play it online, and the system lets us have like interactive doors and stuff, but it's going to treat each of these as an individual one. So that's going to be a little distracting, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. We can do a big double door like that. And kind of what I'm thinking, let's go back to I'm thinking we can like almost like cinch it off, right? So it's like they have this one area right here that the giants use for something, for, you know, worship or whatever. I don't know. I haven't thought super far ahead about what elements this thing is going to include. But if we do this, right, and it like goes on and extends past there, right, and then that back part ends up being a different part of the shrine or something like that. That'd be interesting. That's actually, you know, I just kind of want to conceptualize the 2 layers here. So I'm going to make our last layer. Kind of jump the gun a little bit here. Create shrine part 2. Except now for conceptual symmetry, I have to change this one to part 1. But since we're not going vertical, we're going horizontal. I think that makes sense. Shrine part 1. Perfect. And then perfect. Okay. Let me just get our terrain going here. Mountain. Turn that on. Terrain snow. Oh wait, no, wait. We want the rocky, and then we put the snow over top of it. We want Balboa ground. Get it? Like Rocky Balboa. Get it? Get it? It's not funny. How many times have I done that today? I'm gonna have to be somehow reprimanded for all of these unbelievably bad puns. Hey, did you hear me do it again? Did you hear me do it again? I heard me do it again. And really, I'm in this just for my own entertainment, my own amusement, so if you don't like it, deal with it. Just add some blended snow in here just to make it clear that we're like kind of on a mountaintop. I don't know, it doesn't have to actually look all that great because most of it's going to be covered up, but that way we've got kind of got the atmosphere set how we want it. So now, building tool, just going to compare our levels here. Do that, and then just to make it easy to see where our things should run. Okay, that's all I needed it for there. Really, that's more helpful if we're going vertical, so you can see where staircases and stuff should land if you want things to be lined up, which I personally always try to do. That's kind of irrelevant for this one. What I actually think would be really cool with this one, I'm gonna make this big wide open again. That might be a little bit too big. But what I want to do... Oh, wait, hold on. Undo that. Hold on, we can do this better. What I want to do with it, let's go, we need to do separate wall tool. And I want... wall... beans, I messed it up. Hold on, there it is. It's 3 from the thing, and then just straight across. I want to have it... Oh, shoot, I did it again. Was not paying attention. Okay, 3, down, over to 3, and then up across. Okay. All right, there it is. We got it. Took me a few tries, but we got there. What I think would be kind of neat is to set this up. I kind of have in mind almost something like, oh shoot, what's the name of the one castle, the one place where they, where Tyrion Lannister, right, was imprisoned, and he was there, and it's like half his cell was just opened up to a cliff face. That's what I'm imagining. It opens up there because like the shrine goes up to the edge of the mountain, goes up to a cliff face, and that's where the giants would make sacrifices because they're not super sophisticated. So it's like maybe there's an altar here, but half their sacrifices would just be like throwing the corpses of their enemies off the mountain as like a gift to the mountains or something weird and barbaric like that. It's kind of what I have in mind. The giants in my homebrew world here are not the brightest. They are not the brightest. I hate to say it. But, you know, there we are. That's just kind of what I have in mind. And so I kind of want to, hold on. Can I, if we go to our terrain, I don't know, water is definitely not what we're looking for here. Material brush, rock tile. I wish I could just like have sky and just do like a blue. There's gotta be a way I can do this. Can I edit any of these maybe? Dry grass. Void? Yes. Yes, please. Hold on. What's that gonna end up looking like? Oh wait, hold on. I want the blending off. No, oh shoot, no, we need void. Yes, we need void. I mean, it's a little more on the magical whimsical side than I was looking for. But I do kind of love it. Just being a void that opens up there, and it's like, yeah, we can have the void be like there, right? The void just goes off, and I can just explain it. I don't know. That looks kind of silly that way. There's got to be a way I can make that look better. But it's at least a starting point. It's the idea that I'm looking for. Can we edit it? Oh, whoops! No, undo that. Did not mean to do that one. I wish I could like edit it more. Because the void is the concept, but like if I could change that to rather than being like a night sky starry or anything like that, if I could just change it to being like regular sky, that would be amazing. But I can't do that. And I actually feel like this one we almost need the blending off because it needs to be like a sharp edge. I don't know. What kind of tools do we have here? See, now this is where we have to start getting real creative with how we do things. Because I want that void there, but I want that to have like a sharper cutoff. Because if we turn off our smoothing, right, that looks much more like a cliff, like I'm looking for. That definitely looks like much more of the cliff that I'm looking for. But this part does not look as good as when we go down there, right? I think that looks much better. That looks much more pleasing to the eye. That looks kind of jarring to me. Looks a little too cartoony. What if I can get creative with our flooring tools? No, because it's gonna just like match up with the grid. That's gonna look weird. I'm not gonna like it. I can already tell. I already know I'm not gonna like it. Well, let me see something here. Let me delete this here. Let me get this flooring out of here. Let me try something with the flooring. I'm admitting defeat on this not sharp edge just for the time being. Just for the time being. It's imperfect. I'm dissatisfied with it, but there's time to worry about it, you know, in a little bit. What I want to do right now is I kind of want to get ourselves kind of like a rounded sense of things here. How many? Oh crap! I should have been paying attention to like how far I was making things. I think that's the same. And then if we do like right there. Oh no, I goofed it. I goofed it somehow. Ah, beans. Hold on. We'll figure this out. Hold on. It goes from there. Oh, I think I need to do one more maybe. Hold on. This one is 2 over from there, so this needs to go up to here. Yeah, we need 1 over from there. And then this one comes out to 5 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. That's it. That's it right there. So it's kind of like a rounded thing. So we do that, and then we'll come over. There we go. So if we do that, and then we fill our void, that's going to look a bit more like just a room. Rather than it being like perfectly sheer or anything like that. I think that looks good. Like they're setting things up. The other way, we could have done it more concave. But I think this makes more sense. I think this looks good. Because then we can come over here. Let's get our void. Just painting it in, just painting it in. Honestly, it looks kind of goofy, but I'm not gonna overthink it right now. I wonder if I just like because I've got the blending on is what makes it not look super realistic. But maybe if I just like hold it so that the blending fills in as much as possible. Doesn't look terrible. Oh, I've got an idea. Hold on. I think let's give this a try here. Oh man, see my excitement level just like spike. I think I puzzled through it. All right, watch me. Somebody stop me. Where's the mask? I don't know if anyone caught that one. That was from the mask. Okay, so we want to come down here. It's only funny until you explain it, you idiot. Then it stops being funny. Stop explaining your jokes. Check it. We'll just put like a bunch of rocks and stuff down here. Like if we just put a bunch of rocks, well, we don't want them over the void. Hold on, wait, undo that one. Don't want them to be like super over the void, right? But if we do, let's put it as under so that way we can like, let's stick with these. Zoom it in here so we can really get down to the details here. If we do that and we want to unsnap these bad boys here. See, check this out. Just put this thing like right here. And take like this one, or let's find something that's a little bit smaller here. So check it. When we do that, put maybe that one right there. Maybe that one right there. There we go. Boom. Look at that. That's like a sharp cliff face right there, right? And so now we can take some of these rocks and just have it be like a rocky crag type of situation going on there. Crag isn't the right word at all, but you understand what the hell I'm saying. There it is. Honestly, that doesn't look too bad, especially if we take these and just, oops, no, maybe not that one. If we just take, some of these and just like make it seem kind of rocky and stuff scattered around a little bit, right? Do that so it looks a bit more natural. And grab like one of these bad boys, and like plop them right there or something like that. There we go. Honestly, that does not look too bad. I really don't mind that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I do not mind that. Now we can do the same thing over here. All right, set that up right there. Put another one like right there. Put this one right there maybe. Grab that one there. Seeing if we make this one kind of a bit more curved and angular and how it's done. See if we do that one right there and have it stick out, that looks even more natural. Do something like that one right there. I mean, it's a little unnatural. It's a little forced there. But honestly, I don't think that looks terrible. And I'm pretty content with it in general. Right? We do that right there. And see, that kind of disguises that rough edge of it there. And actually, now what I'm thinking also, can almost do like, a few of these. And I'm okay with that sneaking under the wall just a little bit there, because see what I'm going to do here. So you do that, and so that makes it look like it really goes right up there, which would make sense because the Giants would probably be not wholly aware of the fact that that's a poor idea. But for this area, right, we can, okay, I want to put these back at over. Right, for this area right here, we can put a couple more of these, right, just kind of scattered there just to rough up the edges a little bit in these corners and make it look like the corner is, just kind of roughly thrown there, so it's at least a little less sharp, because the sharp edge is a little jarring there, no doubt. No doubt it's a little jarring there, but, we're just kind of doing the best we can here. Right, if we just kind of do stuff like that, that'll kind of disguise that a little bit there and make it, see, it makes it look a little less insane. I see the info for the upcoming Dragonborn dragon stuff. I guess I have to say no, because I'm not perfectly sure what you're referencing. It sounds interesting and exciting, though. Whatever it is, drop whatever info bombs you have on me, and let me see what I'm accidentally possibly missing out on here. Let's see here. Remade, chromatic and metallic dragonborn. Ooh, can use breath weapon X times where X equals proficiency bonus. Ooh. Ooh. See, now here's the fun thing. Here's where that stuff is going to be exciting for me, but also might get me in trouble. One of my players has gotten very, very enamored with the game here, with Dungeons & Dragons, and has started working on his own homebrew campaign and world. And so I have been working on, so eventually when my campaign comes to a close that I'm running for them, he wants to give a try to it. And far from being the type of DM who's prideful and like, well, I thought I was a DM. No way, man. I'm super into him doing that. And I've already figured out my character, who is a Dragonborn. And so now I'm going to have to rework my Dragonborn with those new things in there, because that sounds freaking rad. Gemstone Dragon monster blocks. Ooh, Gemstone Dragonborn race. What? That sounds sick, and that sounds exactly like the Dragonborn character that I've made for his future campaign. So I'm gonna have to catch up and look at that stuff. OMG, I'm mad. Mad I didn't know about that. New Kobolds Race. That's exciting. Finally, a bit of variety to our kobolds, rather than just like crazy screeching lizardmen that run around acting like doofuses. That's an exciting prospect. I'm into it. So I'm just gonna add a few more stones and stuff scattered around here just to make things feel a little less strangely monotonous and void of stuff right around there. There we go. Do stuff like that. That looks good. Let's see here. Kind of want to just like add a few more things around here just to add a bit more to it. Although I can probably not worry about it so much on this one and come back to it later. Yeah, we'll come back to this one later because really I actually want to work on this half of it first. Breath weapon uses an attack, so if you got multiple attacks, you can use one hit with weapon, then follow up with breath weapon. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So is that meant to replace or just be like a variant Dragonborn? I know nothing about this. I have no idea what this is. I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. I'm just gonna throw a few things. When doing mountains, I tend to treat rocks as trees, and I scatter them around for flavor and interest, just to add a bit more atmosphere to it. I do want to come over to our terrain brush. I want to take the rocky terrain. And I want to... Oh, wait, not rocky. Limestone? Is that kind of what... Yeah, limestone. Well, no. Hold on, let me see. Not the limestone. Gravel, I think, is probably what I was thinking of. I think if we do that there, I just kind of want this to feel more like a pathway that leads up to it. There we go. That's good. Looks like a variant since it's being released as part of an info pack. Okay. Alright. Scaling damage, that's rad. That's rad. So as you become more of a dragonman, you are able to do more dragonman damage with your fire breath. With your ghost pepper belches of fire. Which is actually kind of the exact opposite of how my Dragonborn character. My Dragonborn character is very meticulous about his appearance, and would definitely not be caught belching in public if he could help it. He is not about that life. I mean, he's proud of those who do live that life for being unapologetically themselves. He thinks that's fabulous, but that is not his jam. Let's see. Just kind of adding some stones around to make things a little interesting here. as I always do. Probably a little too much detail, but kind of like I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. I'm actually in my element. I'm definitely someone who likes to take the time to get in the weeds about things and take your time to do the details. I'm more of a project takes the time it takes kind of person, rather than a project must be done within X amount of days and within X amount of time, especially when it's a project I'm in control of. I much prefer to be in the thick of these types of things, doing all of this little bit of detail. And I don't know, I think I produce better work when I like indulge myself in this little bit of, you know, intensity and maybe even insanity about designing my worlds. I like that. I think that looks good. So your chromatic get ability to be immune to their damage type for 10 minutes. Until they get a second breath weapon. Oh, that's really cool. You can either push back or incapacitate. Gemstone get gem wings, which grant flight. That's rad. That's rad. Not the right type of powers for my character, so I wouldn't be using the gemstone dragon. But that's really cool. I think that's really cool. Gem wings. That sounds awesome. Sounds awesome and fabulous all at the same time. I dig it. I'm into it. I'm absolutely into it. Alright, there we go. There, see, that just looks much more interesting to me, right? When you've just got those little things. It doesn't matter. They're not functionally doing anything. But I think it just looks cool. And I'm all about making things look cool, at least to my eyes. And if you don't like it, well, too bad. It's my stream. I can do what I want. Take that. Let's see. I liked him until he started getting really arrogant about stuff. Started mocking us for what he was doing, even though no one disliked it. It's a really good way to make friends, isn't it? Make fun of them even when they don't deserve it. Let's just put a rock right there. I like putting a rock right there. Specifically right there, though, not anywhere else. Other rocks go elsewhere, but a rock needed to go right there. There's like 2 puns involved in that. A rock needs to go there. Are we referring to the country or Dwayne Johnson? Get it? There's 2 very different. A rock, right? That's some phonetics. That's some phonetical fun right there. Oh boy. You can tell I don't know what to say because I'm just sitting here making up really stupid jokes. It's like he gets uncomfortable with silence and just has to fill it with whatever nonsense. Honestly, it comes across as really insecure. You see, he's still doing it right now. What's wrong with that guy? I'm having too much fun making fun of myself right now. Is it healthy? No. Does it entertain me? 100%. Am I going to keep doing it? You betcha. Why is he spending so much time on all these stupid rocks? It's taking forever. We're getting like all kinds of levels of meta here. Alright, anyway. I think just like I keep using that one a whole lot. Of course, there's only like 7 different. Well, I guess it's more than 7. I could actually take the time to count them, but I'm not going to. It's more like 15. It's like 15 different ones. So only so many when I'm plopping down dozens of them. There are dozens of them. Dozens, I say. I want that one over. Right there. The rest of these can be back to the under motif. Put that one right there, I guess. I don't know. Put like a big one. Just kind of peeking in over there. He's just peeking in. He's like, hey guys, what's up? Those ones too. They're like, yeah, we're here. Look at that. We can make our own, an entirely unique rock cluster by just using the same one. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. That looks like it's on a mountain, kind of. I don't know. It's okay, just don't look at it too closely. Players are going to be all in here. They're not going to be seeing much of that stuff. So, now that I got that terrain looking like how I want it, the other thing I want to see here. Mushroom mine. Could look at mine. Pillar. Okay, whatever. We'll just not get into the weeds there. It's a little more than I want. I'm content with that. I'm happy with how that looks. So, now we need to partition our thing a little bit here. And so this is the tough thing to think about. This is a shrine made by giants for giants. Truthfully speaking, if the giants were going to make a shrine around here, I have a strong suspicion that they wouldn't bother with different rooms. And it would just be like a big building, and they'd be like, there, shrine, make gift. But that's boring and uninteresting. So I gotta find a way to subdivide this a little bit and give players an actual dungeon to explore here. So I think, wait, hold on. Yeah, so we want our wall tool. So I think really the trick is just gonna be to add our walls and add our details and everything, and just hope that they don't ask too many questions. There's gonna be big giant empty rooms. Get it? Giant empty room because it's a giant thing. Anything? Reasoning for why the giants would divide up the shrine, or just looking for a way to make it natural. Reasons for why they would divide it up. As far as a dungeon goes, I'm totally content with making things look subdivided in strange ways for the sake of making it a fun game. I'm 100% okay with leaning heavily on the it's a game mechanic, enjoy it excuse. You know, so it's like whether things look natural or not isn't a huge concern to me. More so concerned with like reasons for why they would have done things as they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe like 4 more. We can count the outside as 1, 7. We can count like all these outside areas and stuff. Wouldn't be the worst idea. Let's see here. Because I like this. There's a grand opening gathering area. I'm almost wondering, so like, could be an old ruin the giants repurposed into a shrine. That's true. We could we could retcon that a little bit, because I said the history of this shrine is that the giants created it, but there's not really a reason for that to be true. Like other than I needed a reason for the shrine to exist. We could do something different with it. That's absolutely an option. What's the other one you got here? One in charge is different, smarter race of giants. Possible. That could work. The one who was in charge when it was made, that would certainly work. Zelnart, the guy who's in charge of it right now, I don't know that he's smart enough to figure that out. He's more so the hit him really hard so that no one wants to fight him type of leader. But what I'm thinking, the thought that I'm thinking right now, is I could subdivide these, right? And so it's like, we established that it's a couple days travel. And so we could just have it be part of the lore for the giants that they have just like these are all just like sleeping quarters that are broken up a little bit. So that way all of the giants can have a place to sleep when they come up here, right? And it's like each one of these is like a bunk room that has 2 beds or whatever for like 2 of the giants to come and stay here. So it's like when a small contingent of giants comes to make sacrifices to the mountains or whatever weird, dumb, archaic thing they're doing is, and then they all have a place to stay. So I think we can get away with doing it that way, and just like having it all be filled with like old falling apart beds in here. And then we'll kind of end up having the same issue up there, but we'll get there. I don't think it's going to let us see it because I did that, but it's part of the room there, so. Let's see here. Anywho. That'll work. That's sufficient. It's not just good, it's good enough. And that's what I strive for. Good enough. That's not true at all, but it's funny for the sake of a joke, so here we are. Here we are with me explaining my jokes again. Real excellent humor right there. really, if I wanted to have anything seem natural at all, the trick would be to not try to be funny at all and just be a naturally funny human being. But I don't know, we'll see how well that's going. Alright, and then I think we've got our... Yeah, we'll do that. And then this area actually should be wide open. But it's not because I didn't think far enough ahead and I don't want to redo the whole room. So we're just going to put a bunch of doors and have them always be open. That's what players can do. Let's see here. The process of thinking about something for a campaign. Level 3 character. Alright, so something for level 3. I want to make it interesting. A blood... Oh, you're talking about a character for a campaign. Gotcha. Level 3. Blood Hunter class is an option. Thinking about me as well. I guess why not? Fair enough, yeah. Blood Hunter. I have no experience working with Blood Hunters. I've never played one, and I've never had a player play one. So you're on your own with that one. They're cool. It's a cool idea. That's for damn sure. But yeah, I know nothing about Blood Hunters. Nothing. Absolutely jack diddly. Alright, so we got all these different window types. Let's put some windows in here. Let's see here. Grand entry there. Boom, lots of windows. Like, all windows. I don't know, I don't think Giants would know. It'd be more of an opening. I don't want to actually do windows. They would just have, like, an opening in the wall. Honestly. I don't even know if they would do that, though, Giants. I don't know if they're really the window type of people. I think they're just kind of... Their wall, inside home. Great. Let's see here. Blood Hunter class. We're coming with a backstory for that. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Windows for Giants is a hole in the wall. A strategic hole. An intentional hole. Of course, oftentimes, over the years, they get more holes. Not by any sort of interior design choice, but simply by existing. One of them had a nightmare and punched while in bed, and now they've got a new window. I'm not going to worry about windows, honestly. We're just going to leave it as, like, yeah. You know what we could do? Okay, I'm gonna just experiment with something. I'm gonna make a new level. Create a new level. Shrine Part 1 Alt. Clone that. Okay, and now I want to go to. Are we? Okay, we're on the Shrine Part 1 alt, so we're on the alternative one. Yeah. I don't know why I cloned it. I don't want to clone that. Never mind. Delete that. Delete this. Yeah, delete that alt there. We don't need that. Create Shrine Part 1 alt. Let's do that. I'm not gonna. We're running short on time. And because I'm just experimenting with something, I'm not going to do anything too detailed. We're just going to put that there just so we have something easier to look at here. The other option here, let's compare levels is what I want to do. Let's do that with Shrine Part 1. Okay, so we got that. The other thing that we can do with this, and this would really help with the size and scale of everything, is we can do similar to what we did in the village, and we can double layer all of the walls. Right, so we can do let's do our building tool. So like if we have our exit that goes there, right, so if it goes boom, if we have this is all of our and we can go like this here. I'm gonna change things just a little bit, right, and we do this, so we have like the interior of the walls, and we can partition those and have some parts be more open than others. Right, so we do that. Yeah, I did that right. I did that right, okay. And we come down over here. Boom, 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 boom. So it's like they're not doing, so players would go through not because they would go through the walls, not because they need to hide now, but just because those are some of the options for traveling around, especially if there's a door that's like a giant's door, right? And like we can just like kind of almost force their hand, right? And so it's like we do this, or wait, no, hold on, oops. I want to do that further over here. So we just do something like this, right? Because this is the grand entry, or what will eventually be the grand entryway. And so you do stuff like this, and you just don't put doors. You just don't put doors there, not because there aren't doors, but because they're so big, right? That the giants, that like, they would be these big things that giants would use, and they're closed and they're sealed enough tight at the bottom that the players can't get through them or something like that, right? And so you have it be set up that way, so they have to kind of figure their way through. So, oh man, you guys are talking a whole lot about Blood Hunters. Hold on, I want to see what you guys are talking about. Do not wanting to dive into spellcast yet. Barbarian, Monk, Fighter, Pop Helen, and then Blood Hunter is an interesting class choice. I'm just trying to find that version, I think. Hunter uses the strength dex. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, Blood Hunters with strength of dex using martial, that could work. I haven't done spellcaster yet. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you don't want to do spellcaster, then that's, yeah. I mean, that's definitely your choice. Or you might go down a few times. Blood Hunter is really weird balancing act. Yeah, that's kind of what my immediate concern would be as well, because of just how they are. They're kind of, yeah, draining. Use an ability right before the enemy rolls. Yeah, like if you're always in melee range and you're draining your own health for your stuff, that can be a risky thing. But that can be like a really fun glass cannon type of approach. So that could be like a fun you know, like I say, glass hammer. Or a glass cannon type of approach things. Glass hammer kind of works. I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, see, look at this. Look at this. I kind of like this. Right, so it's just like there aren't doors, that I just like block off parts of this where the doors would be, because they can't go in and out of the doors. Right, so that would be kind of interesting, and you just add little cracks to places. So it's like if I wanted there to be like a crack in the front door so that they could go through it, you do like, because we'll take our, you know, it's like if I wanted to partition some things here, we could go over like this, and there. So it's like that's one room, and then we have another room over here. Right, we do something like that. So it's like there's rooms, and then there's this big grand opening area here. And it's like that's where the giants themselves would go through. That would work. Okay, all right. I like that. I like that better than the way I had it too. I feel like that makes it a bit easier. And a crowd of giants walking around going, and here's the bedroom. Yeah. That's how they do the interior decoration. They just build a giant wall. They just build a giant dome of stone, and they're like, now it needs a front door. Wha-bam! Now we need a back door. Go! And they just do that. That would be perfect. But I think this is going to be the way to do it. Right? I think that'll be the way to do it. And that'll just make things really interesting, because you can just like partition off different parts of wall based on how they would have gone about making their walls a little bit. So what parts would have been empty versus what parts would have been added on. So then we can just take our wall tool, right? And just like partition right there. You know, and then a partition right here. You know, and then like one that goes right there, right? Because they had this part of the wall open. Put one right there, right? And these are doors. So as a baseline, they can't even get into those areas. And do that, right? And then again with right there to break that part of. Yeah. Okay, so I like this. So not gonna do much with this right now because I'm looking at the time. At local time 1:25, it is time for me to call it a stream here, which is too bad because I see you guys are having a cool conversation about class builds and stuff like that. Plug for the Discord. Bring the conversation over to the Discord. No, it's there if you want to. But yeah, we're gonna call it a stream here. For the writing, I am going to be back in like 20 minutes to play some Mass Effect. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to stop back in a little bit or even just stick around. I'm just going to I always take a bit of a break to, like, rest my voice and stuff. But we're going to do that, and we're going to do some video gaming. Rest of this week, as of right now, I should be able to stream. I should be on my usual schedule of Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday might be a little bit in limbo. I do have to take my car in for a routine, like, oil check repairs. It's like it's due for its, like, so many miles checkup where they're going to look at the brakes and everything like that. So I got to take my car in, depending on how quick that goes. I may be late to streaming on Friday. It's mechanics. It's just however quickly they're getting through all their stuff. It's like going to the doctor. But other than that, I should be streaming standard this week. So, if you're just here for the D&D stuff, look for me tomorrow or throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, that's what's going on. Oh, and also, I mean, legitimately, I do have a Discord and a YouTube channel. So feel free to check those out if you are interested. Other than that, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you that came in here, had some cool conversations. I just appreciate the general interest that you guys show in the stuff that I'm working on. It's flattering to me, and I'm glad that I can be of some amusement to you. I really do enjoy doing this. So, so I will either see you in a few minutes or I will see you in the future. Either way, take care of yourselves, and I will be back shortly. So, sit tight, and see you in a few. Bye.